Hey everybody, this is Arthur Shopper, the field director for Mass Resistance, the international pro-family group that makes the difference. A lot of people responded really positively to my last video about just tell the truth, just stand up and speak the truth. So I just want to take a little moment to go over some of those necessary truths, just a review that are not only worth telling, but of a necessity must be told. First of all, no one is born gay or homosexual. There is no gay gene. There was an extensive study conducted by an MIT researcher and a Stanford researcher. They looked at 500,000 individuals in the English-speaking world. They looked at them over, it was a longitudinal study. They saw the sexual practices which they manifested in their lives, and they looked at their genetic makeup, and they found no gay gene. This is a recent study that the results of which were published in nature.com. Also, you have to look at the logic of the issue. If homosexuality is genetic, then at some point it dies out because homosexuals don't procreate. So how do they pass on the gene? It shows that there are environmental, emotional, or more importantly, traumatic factors. And that goes to the next issue. Homosexuality, you will find this with every individual who lives out homosexual conduct. You're going to find some element of abuse, neglect, confusion, molestation, or shame. David Pickup, who is earning his PhD, he is a restorative therapist in Texas, has talked about how the deep-rooted traumas and abandonment issues that men and women deal with as children, they manifest in same-sex attraction, same-sex desire. And these are issues that are difficult to ascertain, let alone address. Because when you're a child and you grow up in an abusive environment, you don't know any better because that's the only environment that you know. So again, abuse, neglect, confusion, molestation, and shame. And these are all issues that can be treated, that can be overcome. It's, change can be difficult, but it can happen. Restorative therapists, reparative therapists, there is an increased movement of their services being available, and the Childs v. Salazar decision struck down any effort by a government entity to try to silence that form of therapy. I want to give a special shout out to Dr. Robert Oscar Lopez. He wrote in a very powerful confessional essay, a statement. This was published in American Thinker. This idea that, first of all, born gay is a lie. The second thing is that you find out naturally that that it's something that organically is just discovered. That's also a lie. What all too often happens is that people are induced or abused into that false identity. And last of all, the idea that homosexuality is normative. It's a misuse of organs. We see an increase of venereal disease, mental health issues, decline in lifespan, and this is even in the most LGBT-affirming countries. Psychological Reports did a comprehensive study on this in the 1990s, and I'm certain that the outcomes could be replicated with the current study. And of course, the other truth that we must affirm, there are only two sexes. You'll hear arguments from people stating, well, what about intersex? Well, those are physical deformities. But if you look at the genetic characteristics of an individual, there's either XX or there's XY. There may be an extra Y, there may be an extra X due to a chromosomal defect, but that doesn't negate the fact that there are two sexes. Don't say two genders. Languages have gender, but human beings, the dimension about male and female, that is sex. Those are the basic truths. Don't be afraid to state them. And if you want more evidence to assist your argumentation, reach out to us. Visit our website, massresistance.org. Sign up for our newsletter, send us a message. We'll send you whatever resources you need in order to argue effectively, in order to tell the truth about the whole LGBT agenda.